You are doubtless aware that, in recent days, the introduction of the account origin disclosure feature on the X platform has triggered one of the most significant upheavals in the realms of cybersecurity and social media. What some initially assumed to be a simple step toward greater transparency swiftly transformed into a mirror reflecting the sources of foreign influence, exposing vast networks of accounts long concealed behind identities operated in reality by foreign states, foremost among them Israel. This discovery has opened the door to reinterpreting the entire digital landscape, revealing its orchestrated attempts to sow internal division between nations through electronic brigades that employ carefully engineered psychological techniques to inflame discord, steer public opinion, and manufacture artificial hostilities serving the interests of external powers. More importantly, it revived a long-dismissed subject, often relegated to the domain of conspiracy madness. The issue of accounts whose owners claim allegiance to a particular country while launching attacks against another, all with the intent of shaping a mental image that deepens rifts. According to security analyses and journalistic reports published by major American newspapers on transnational networks of inauthentic accounts, the presence of profiles feigning specific nationalities is far from random. Rather, it reflects a model of organized information warfare. This makes it abundantly clear that what X has done is not a mere technical mishap, but a genuine digital war map unfolding above our heads, one that has been raging for years while we remained oblivious. Once the platform activated the feature revealing a user's account creation country, it became possible for individuals to see which state an account truly originated from. This transformed the technical function into an effective tool for uncovering vast webs of politically and media-driven accounts. This, in turn, exposed the reality that many profiles presenting themselves as independent voices or activists from within specific nations were, in fact, operated from foreign states, some linked to lobbying networks, intelligence groups, or digital account farms. These farms now stand among the most prominent instruments of psychological and media influence in the digital age. Thousands of fabricated or semi-authentic accounts are generated within these operations to orchestrate targeted campaigns across social media platforms. These farms are run either from centers in low-cost countries or from within international intelligence networks. According to the Digital Forensic Research Lab at the Atlantic Council and the Brookings Institution, the functions of these farms are divided into two principal tiers. The first consists of echo accounts, small profiles created in massive numbers whose sole mission is to retweet, amplify, and inflate messages so they appear to represent widespread public sentiment. The second tier comprises driver accounts, profiles that present themselves as journalists, experts, or activists who craft narratives and set the direction of discussions around specific issues. Both levels operate under a layer of central guidance, the upper management tier responsible for steering overall strategy, coordinating content through direct instructions, defining messages and objectives, and monitoring performance through precise digital analytics. This upper management is often tied to a political, economic, or intelligence entity. These farms rely on advanced technologies, including artificial intelligence to generate fabricated texts, images, and videos, as well as content scheduling tools that release posts at strategic intervals, allowing the influence to spread rapidly and extensively. The primary objective is to steer public opinion, foment internal divisions, or instill a sense of social and political unrest. These brigades fundamentally work to ignite rifts between Arab nations by provoking sensitive topics such as political disputes, security issues, or economic crises, then amplifying them through thousands of inauthentic accounts until they appear to be a genuine wave of public sentiment. With the unveiling of account origin locations, the scale of these farms has become evident, revealing that a significant portion of these profiles is actually operated from foreign countries as part of a meticulously crafted plan designed to exert tangible influence on both public and political spheres, spreading disorder, suspicion, and hostility. Security analyses further indicated that this feature unveiled a recurring pattern among political accounts whose true origin was Israel, as well as news profiles revealed to be produced by propaganda command centers linked to lobbying, influence, and media direction campaigns. There were even fundraising accounts claiming to support Gaza that ultimately proved to be operated from countries wholly unconnected to the region. Although these findings reignited debate on the security of digital platforms and on how a single entity can mislead public opinion through thousands of fabricated accounts using simple tools, what has been exposed marks only the beginning. It has become clear that a substantial portion of the content flooding the digital sphere is orchestrated by external networks stretching from low-cost tech hubs in Asia to cyber operation rooms in states pursuing explicit political agendas. Studies published by the Stanford Internet Observatory and the Atlantic Council's Digital Propaganda Monitoring Lab noted that these networks operate according to a unified model known as foreign influence operations. They are run either by companies offering political influence services for payment or by intelligence and media agencies managing entire digital armies tasked with shaping debates. They are complemented by political and ideological lobbying groups that manufacture narratives around sensitive conflict zone issues, such as Palestine, Syria, and Sudan, in ways that advance their direct interests. With the proliferation of digital platforms and the growing power of collective electronic consciousness, influencing populations no longer requires armies, but rather algorithms and inauthentic accounts managed from beyond borders. This constitutes a framework of psychological warfare in the digital world, designed to generate political sensitivities among nations and to reshape collective awareness in service of undisclosed objectives. According to reports issued by the RAND Corporation, as well as the NATO Strategic Communications Center of Excellence, both specializing in the study of information warfare and media deception, digital psychological warfare operates through 5 principal pillars, which may be summarized as follows. First, the manipulation of emotion through the deliberate provocation of anger, frustration, injustice, and fear by means of repetitive, concise messages. Second, the tarnishing of political and social symbols through coordinated campaigns targeting individuals or institutions in order to erode public trust. Third, the fabrication of false narratives, stories invented from nothing and then amplified across hundreds of accounts until they appear to be indisputable truths. Fourth, the fueling of internal divisions, seizing upon any political or economic dispute between two nations and transforming it into a broad popular conflict. Fifth, the fracturing of the public into opposing camps, pushing followers, often unconsciously, into taking sides, thereby suffocating rational dialogue and intensifying polarization. This clearly reveals that a substantial portion of these alignments did not arise organically from the peoples themselves, but from external networks adept in behavioral psychology and digital technologies working to reshape relations among Arab societies. Networks of fake accounts employ calculated methods of deception, such as systematic harassment, wherein waves of repetitive, abusive comments are unleashed on specific profiles to silence dissenting voices and drive genuine users away from discussion through fear or exhaustion. They also employ artificial amplification, creating the illusion of public consensus around a particular issue through thousands of fabricated likes and shares, leading real users to believe that the prevailing view is the dominant one. Another method is source deception, whereby accounts hide behind false identities, mimic local dialects, and adopt specific cultural symbols to influence public opinion. Then there are misleading truths, where psychological manipulation does not rely on blatant lies but on blending accurate information with false interpretations or distorted contexts, making it far more difficult for the average user to detect the deception. Together, these techniques produce a polluted informational environment in which distinguishing authentic opinions from engineered ones becomes increasingly difficult, transforming platforms into arenas of influence controlled from beyond national borders. Debate has long persisted over the presence of Israeli and Western influence networks operating within the digital sphere, aiming to sway public sentiment and reshape political narratives. With the emergence of the account origin feature on X, this debate shifted from the realm of speculation to the domain of tangible fact. Reports have documented coordinated digital campaigns originating in Israel, targeting public opinion across the Middle East through accounts that masquerade as Arab voices and discuss political, economic, and security issues in local dialects. These reports also revealed that parts of these networks are operated by private companies, while others are directed outright by governmental or intelligence entities, taking advantage of the absence of regulatory frameworks in the Arab digital sphere. Additionally, influence campaigns run from Europe and the United States have been shown to target sensitive Arab issues, especially during periods of regional crisis. Digital influence operations are not limited to spreading misinformation or managing fake accounts. They extend to the engineering of narratives and the steering of public sentiment toward particular emotions or positions, not through overt messaging, but through the gradual planting of storylines that cultivate a slow yet profoundly impactful shift in collective perception. These operations rely on three primary psychological mechanisms. The first is narrative repetition, wherein a single idea is presented in multiple forms, whether as a video, a tweet, a news post, or even a humorous meme, until it embeds itself in the collective subconscious. The second is issue reframing, because narrative engineering does not alter facts but reshapes the way they are understood, transforming an ordinary political event into an imminent threat, or inflating a minor dispute into an existential conflict between nations. The third is the creation of the illusion of consensus, as fake accounts are used to suggest that a certain viewpoint is universally accepted, applying social pressure on genuine users to adopt the majority stance. Naturally, when such content originates from accounts disguised with Arab identities, its impact is magnified, as it bypasses the barrier of trust and appears to arise organically from within the community itself. Thus, organized networks of inauthentic accounts work to manufacture political and social hostility through carefully designed models based on analyzing collective behavior and testing the vulnerabilities within each society. They exploit political and economic crises, magnifying them and attributing them to another nation before circulating them intensively so that the crisis appears as an act of betrayal or a deliberate assault. They also weaponize national and tribal identities, deploying harsh rhetoric that revives entrenched stereotypes, provoking waves of anger that feed upon themselves. In addition, they tarnish cultural and political symbols and manufacture imaginary battles that frame ordinary disagreements as existential conflicts between states, when, in reality, they are merely natural differences or minor events deliberately amplified. A study published by the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab in 2023 indicated that 70% of Arab tension waves on social platforms originate from fake accounts rather than real publics. This means that a substantial portion of today's hostility is artificial and does not stem from the peoples themselves. You may also notice that the discussion largely revolves around political matters, yet the religious and doctrinal dimension is far more perilous. In the era of fifth-generation warfare, the digital sphere has become an open battlefield, exposing the fragility of cybersecurity infrastructures due to the absence of legislation and the weakness of domestic laws designed to combat misinformation and protect data. This is compounded by limited digital literacy and insufficient regional cooperation to counter cross-border disinformation campaigns, conditions that make the work of account farms far easier. As a result, digital security has become one of the most vulnerable links in the strategic structure, transforming the world into fertile ground for fifth-generation warfare, which relies on informational penetration, cognitive manipulation, and the fabrication of reality through a controlled flow of narratives. With a growing dependence on digital platforms in politics, media, and economics, electronic spaces have become exposed to international actors and intelligence entities adept at wielding soft power instead of traditional military force. Undoubtedly, the fundamental problem lies in the absence of societal awareness regarding the dangers of digital engineering, phishing, and psychological influence campaigns. In this vacuum, foreign-funded electronic brigades infiltrate the public sphere, steering opinion, eroding trust between nations, and igniting conflicts through fabricated identities and elusive methods that reshape the political and social landscape without a single shot being fired. The count location feature on X has revealed a fragment of the hidden truth behind the digital realm. Yet it has also opened the door to deeper questions about the extent to which phantom networks shape public consciousness and manufacture division. It highlights the unsettling reality that a considerable portion of circulating content is not authentic, but orchestrated by intelligence entities. Unit 8200, specializing in cyber warfare and intelligence gathering, is considered the most significant digital intelligence unit in the Israeli military. It plays a central role in directing influence campaigns across social media, creating fake accounts, managing electronic brigades under fabricated identities, and sowing discord to manipulate public sentiment across various regions, especially within the Arab world. Its strategies are highly advanced, managing vast farms of digital accounts, conducting systematic disinformation campaigns that disseminate fabricated news to implant certain ideas within the collective consciousness, and employing artificial intelligence alongside digital analytics to track user behavior, identify vulnerabilities, and craft precise psychological messaging. According to digital security experts, the unit's influence goes far beyond information dissemination. It extends to reshaping entire political and social narratives. These operations stand as a defining component of digital fifth-generation warfare, an arena that cannot be confronted without strategies that integrate public awareness, legislative frameworks, and modernized technological tools. Will societies find a way to safeguard themselves? Or will they remain mere spectators as the digital sphere is reconstructed in its entirety, and perhaps reality itself, according to the whims of these architects of deception?